Good evening. Tonight we're going to do part 2 of what we were going through from Swami Rama on living on purpose. There's only 2 parts to this reading, and we'll do something different tomorrow. He was talking about Dharma, and he continues here. A person's dharma is related to personal karmas and samskaras. What does a person need to learn, burn, and discard in order to move forward in spiritual life? What is the dharma that can effect that learning and burning? Whether that dharma is to be a carpenter, social worker, fireman, nurse, computer technician, mother or father, Californian or Italian, it doesn't matter. From a general point of view, no dharma is better than another. From the standpoint of making spiritual progress, being a small vegetable farmer or street cleaner is as valid and efficient a dharma as being president or pope. Each person has a dharma that best suits his or her spiritual needs. It is vital, then, to look for and establish a personal dharma that provides a personal set of values to follow and develop, and identifies those duties that will be helpful in the process of personal growth. In this exploration of something beyond worldly life, it is necessary to find a spiritual path. We all need a guidebook into the geography of the heart. We are all making a sacred journey to our true divine natures. Although that divine nature is so close and so known to us, it also remains hidden in the tangled recesses of our thoughts and desires. All the religions and spiritual systems of the world come from the human aspiration to know the truth about our real identity. Within each of these systems are maps to that truth that is shared by all. Some maps are written in Sanskrit, others in Latin, Hebrew, Arabic, or Chinese. Some maps take sea routes, others overland or air. Some guide followers this way up the mountainside, others that way. They all, however, come to the same pinnacle of truth, capital T, truth. We usually find ourselves in those systems that represent our culture. Religions evolve out of cultures to serve the spiritual needs of people in the context of their lifestyles, environments, and histories. Islam emerged from a particular culture, history, and community need. The same is true of Buddhism, Christianity, Judaism, and all the religious systems of the world. None is better than another, according to Swami Rama, and I agree. But anyway, they merely reflect cultures, times, and needs. Hinduism, in reality, is a way of life and a philosophy of life. It is not a religion. As the world has shrunk with sophisticated communication systems, it has become easier to share the knowledge of religious systems with other cultures. There has been a mixing of ideas and techniques that are benefiting people throughout the world. The great movement of Eastern philosophies in the second half of this century, referring to the 20th century, throughout the United States and Europe is an example of this sharing. However, it is important to remember that spiritual disciplines that have become religious systems have been reinterpreted. Institutions have emerged that have become something other than the spiritual imperative that gave rise to the institutions. Jesus said he was not creating a new religion. He was simply telling the truth. A religious system developed and concealed the truth told by Jesus. The truth is still there, but around it is this new institution and its interpretations of truth. Jesus said, for instance, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but by me. He meant that the way to eternal life, or Brahman, is by knowing the Atman, the pure self that is embodied by all. The institution that formed seized on the statement and used it as an institutional bludgeon, demanding that people join that institution and take on its dogma or be doomed. So is the case with Islam. Internal research of Islam has been done by the Sufis. The Sufis have dived deep into the Islamic scriptures and emerged with gems of wisdom. I find that all religions have one and the same truth to share with their community. The fortunate few who have realized this truth know that it is priestly wisdom and churchianity that have created confusion. The same phenomenon has happened in all spiritual systems. The institutions are meant to protect the truth, and they grow to bind a community together. That's the meaning of religion. From the Latin ligare, to hold or bind together a culture or people of like beliefs. However, often the institution takes on a life of its own, ignoring the truth it meant to teach. The institution and its leaders become more vital than the truth itself. This leads usually to politics, prejudice, dogmatism, factionalism, and sometimes bloodshed, with one religious group fighting another. The mentality develops that we have the truth, you don't. God is with us, not you. All manner of injustices and harm in the name of religion come from this attitude. The egos of religious leaders create a situation where their followers worship them or fear them, and the purpose of the path is forgotten. The desirable path is that which responds to the true spiritual needs of the individual, not to the demands of an institution, and not to the whims of institutional leaders. In truly spiritual systems, both the institutions and their leaders exist solely to serve the spiritual needs of their members and followers. Pretty clear statement, clear to say the least. This is Swami Rama talking on living on purpose. And so, thank you for listening. Thank you for playing. We'll come up with some other nice gems to take a look at tomorrow. Thank you for visiting. Thank you for hanging out. And remember, it's all about Om. Everything is contained in that simple symbol Om. It's all about Om, or said more traditionally, Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. Om, that alone is reality. Om Tat Sat. Thank you again for playing. Bye-bye. Have a nice meditation.